All right. I hope I'm live. I am using a mic, but I would like the audience to let me know if I am audible. So let me just go ahead and open and check if I am able to hear myself. That's another way to check if I'm live. All right, upcoming is this one. Mic, but great. I am live. Fantastic. All right, everybody, welcome to the first YouTube live session that I'm doing after such a long time. And the reason why I am doing this live session is obviously I have broadcasted everywhere, already have announced everywhere on WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube itself that I am going to do this session for next half an hour to address one specific problem which is very much prevailing. I have been getting a lot of queries and on questions, and the people were seeking my advice on how to crack an interview. From last 8 to 9 months, I would have given almost 8 to 9 interviews, and it is 100% success rate. So I thought that why should I not go ahead and share my knowledge and the personal practices that I do before going for an interview. तो मैंने सोचा वो knowledge आप लोगों से मैं क्यों ना share करूं, so that you guys can also crack the interview without any hassle. So are you ready? I want this session to be interactive. So I would like you guys to comment, to interact, so that I would know that whatever I'm saying, you guys are listening. And if at all you have any questions, so please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section so that I would see those questions and I would like to address it. All right. So let's start it now without any further ado. The first problem that most of us face, that we all want to meet our expenses, and we all want the jobs in order to earn some amount of money to run our family, to build a life and lifestyle that we want, right? However, in order to get the dream job that you have to give the interview in any XYZ company. But this is one of the most challenging tasks before you even land that dream job in any organization, because cracking an interview sometimes feel like climbing on a very tall mountain, right? Because you start judging yourself whether am I the right candidate for this opportunity or not? Will I be able to crack it or not? The interviewer who is going to take the interview, is he more qualified than me? I mean, how? So we start to doubt ourselves, right? So what happens to us? We go in an interview with a preconceived mind, with a negative mindset, and we feel like that we are going to go ahead and try, but we are not sure whether we will be selected or not. Now, with this session that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about some of the things that you will do even before the interview. आपने वो जरूर कहावत सुनी होगी कि चैंपियनशिप जो होती है ना, चैंपियनशिप मैदान में नहीं जीती जाती, चैंपियनशिप चैंपियंस को, आई मीन चैंपियनशिप जो जीती आती है वो गेम खेलने से पहले ही जीती आती है. तो ऑल आई वांट टू से इज दैट interviews are not cracked while you give the interview. Interviews are cracked much before you give the interview. So I'm going to talk about those strategies and plans in this session, and I will enable you to understand those games, those tips and tricks, so you would understand, okay, if you go for an interview, what is it that you have to pre-plan, what strategy you have to follow, right? For the interviewer who is taking your interview, for the company, what research you have to do, so that when you go to an interview, you go with a positive outlook, you go with a positive attitude, and at times you will feel like that you know so much about the organization and the interviewer that the interviewer itself may not know much about their organization and about themselves, right? So how is it even possible? It is possible, ladies and gentlemen, because I have cracked it, and I'm going to share this right now with you. So I'm going to talk about, so I have made some notes just to make sure that I do not lose on any information that I would like to share with you right now. So I have divided this research into 3 parts. Okay. Number 1, we are going to talk about the job. Okay, so for example, you have applied for any job. It can be a project manager, it can be a developer, it can be a network engineer, it can be a manager, or for that matter, any senior position. The first thing that you got to understand is what that job need from you. I'm talking about the job description, and at times it is always better to talk to the recruiter and understand from them if they know more about that particular job, because sometimes the job descriptions are prepared by the manager so miserably that it does not represent the entire requirement that that company has. Okay, so what happens basically, you first of all go and understand what that job requires and try to understand whether the job, the description that it has, the requirement that the company has, does that match with your skill set? Do you have the relevant skill to fulfill that job demand or not? I always say that follow 30 or 70 rule, which says that, if the employer, if the company says that these many 100% skills are required, and if you have just 30% of those skills that they need, go for an interview. Because what interviewer or the company or the organization look for in any candidate is the attitude, behavior, the way they communicate, the attributes that they have, more than their technical skills. So this is the first thing that you got to do. Number second, okay, the second thing that you got to do is research about the interview. In this segment, I'm going to share my screen in front of you right now, and I will show you why it is so significant to understand about the person, to know about the person thoroughly who is taking your interview. Imagine for a moment that the person who is going to take your interview, you have done all the research about them. You know what are their interests, you know what are their behavior, you know what people are talking about that particular person who is taking your interview, you know where they have studied, you know what is their experience background, you know what is their qualification background, you know their interest, you know everything, right? Then how comfortable you will feel when you will actually interact with that person in the interview one-on-one, right? You will feel comfortable. So that is one of the most important part of giving an interview, is knowing about the person. If you do not do this research, it is just like you're going to marry someone you don't even know about, right? So let me ask you this question. Would you marry a person that you don't know? So why would you not understand and know the person who is going to take your interview? Because when you're joining an organization, it is a kind of relationship that you're going to build for a longer period of time, right? So all you got to do is you got to make sure that you understand and do a little bit of research about that person. So how you're going to do it, let me just go ahead and share my screen with you and show you how it is done. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and log into linkedin.com. So I'm going to go ahead and take my example. You guys may say that I'm really self-obsessed, but I am not. I just want to share that how you can understand that someone who's taking your interview, who that person is, who that person really is, and how the research about the interviewer is going to help you. Let's say, for example, you got an email from the recruiter or the HR manager that your interview has been scheduled with XYZ person. You receive that email, you open that email, the first thing that you're going to do, who is that person who's taking the interview? At times, the recruiter does not show or display in the mail who is going to take the interview. Someone else automatically or all of a sudden appear to take the interview. So it is always advisable to ask over the phone from the interviewer, who is the person who's taking my interview, or who may be 2 to 3 people who may be taking my interview. Do the research about all of them. So let's say in this example, Tausif Hassan is going to take your interview, right? So how you are going to search about them, and what is it that you're going to look into that person? आपको उस इंसान में क्या क्या इंफॉर्मेशन देखनी है, आपको किस किस चीज के बारे में रिसर्च करना है, so that your conversation in the interview in the future will become very convenient. Okay. So the first one, for example, I opened this profile. So now you see that who this person is, project and program leader, talk about them. And of course, what do they talk about? Communication, transformation, and project management. Now you know about this, right? And then if you scroll a little bit down, you will come to this about section, or maybe you can also see the feature section. Of course, Not everybody will have this featured section, but if it is, it will give you some additional information. And then come to this about section, right? This about section, if most of the people, update this, because everybody loves to talk about themselves, what do they do. So if you read this, you will understand in a summary, in a gist, what that person is all about, right? Then if you come down, then you can understand about their experience, like what that person is, where they are working, what is their historical experience, in which companies they have been working. Let's say I have worked with BT, British Telecom, right? And if you're going to give the interview and I'm going to take your interview, this is one commonality. Let's say, because this world is too small, right? You may have worked in BT in the past, right? So this is one relatable point that you can always go ahead and start the conversation with, right? And people love the feeling of familiarity. If there is some commonality, if there is some common point between you and the interviewer, it is a plus point for you, right? So I have experienced this personally. Interviewer are always interested to find something common in the candidate. I remember there was an incident. I was giving an interview, and the interview said, "Tosi, where are you from?" I said, "I am from Amethi." He said, "I am also from UP, somewhere around Lucknow." So he got very interested and he became very casual and comfortable in talking to me, right? So points like these, it can be a place, it can be education background, it can be a college, you can be say, an alumni from same college, right? So experience, if you scroll a little bit further down, education, right? What is their education background? What is their certification? You may have something in common here as well, right? And then what if there is something that they are volunteering? A lot of people do it. And then what are the top skills that they have, right? Understand what are the top skills and see if you have those skills that they have. And then recommendation. Now imagine that a lot of people is talking about your interviewer and giving them the feedback, and you read about that person. So you would be able to understand the behavior of that person, whether that person is number centric, very analytical, or that person is very, rational, or he's a leader, he's emotional. You would be able to understand the personal disposition of that interviewer who is going to take the interview by reading these recommendations from the other person for your interview, right? And then of course, honors and rewards, if they have got any, you always have an opportunity to talk about it and appreciate them and say that I really look up to you. And then of course, look at the influencers that they're following, what are their interests. It's always better if your interest and the interest of the interviewer matches, then nothing like it, right? You always have that vibe of commonality and you can always interact very comfortably with that person. So this is all about the research about the interviewer, the research about somebody who's taking your interview, right? Now, imagine for a moment that you know everything about that person. How would you feel? Right? You would feel very comfortable. You will not feel frustrated that I don't know who is going to take my interview, how that person is going to react, what kind of question that he's going to ask. If you know about that person, you will always have an upper hand. You will always be comfortable. And if you are comfortable when you are giving the interview, you'll always give better responses as well, right? Remember, it is all about mindset. Now, without further ado, I'm going to talk about the third aspect. Okay, what is the time I would like to check? We have already spent 15 minutes. And in case if you guys have any questions, you can always drop in, because this session I'm doing after a long time on the YouTube. So I'm expecting that people who may watch this video later on can always come back and ask questions. I'm always available on the social media profiles. You can connect with me and ask questions. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about how you're going to do the research about the company, right? I have always been hearing this from media, newspapers, that there is an inflation, high inflation, causing a lot of disruption in an economy of every country. In European and US country, US and European countries are like crumbling because of this in high inflation. And at times it is also a looming threat of a recession. So the one thing that is much talked about, that you got to be very careful about the company that you're going to join, At the same time, you're also going to be very careful about the company that you're working with. So one thing that you really, really need to check before you join any company, what is or what are the financial foundation of that particular company, right? So it gives you additional confidence. Imagine that you know how much your company is earning year by year. Imagine that you know that how much debt your company has, or what are their net margins, what are their profit margins, what are their free cash flow. So if you know the basic financial metrics of your company even before you go for an interview in that company, you'll always have an upper hand, and you can always strike a conversation about the health of the organization. You can say that I've done this research and I'm really, really happy to see that the company that I may get an opportunity to work with is really a stable company, right? The interviewer always like it because they just look at your effort. It also talks about your interest in the organization. Remember, interviewer always prefer those candidates who are really keen to work with that organization. And how would you show, how would you demonstrate that keenness? How would you demonstrate that eagerness to take that job offer? By doing all of this that I'm showing you right now. Most of the people are not simply aware of all of this, but I have tried and tested it. And ladies and gentlemen, it has worked for me 100% of the time, right? So I'm quickly going to share my screen again, and I'm going to give you an example of one organization. So there is a website which is called morningstar.com. And I'm going to share all of this information without any issues, without even charging anything to you guys. Okay, so this website, so let's say you're going to join a company. I can take any company, right? Let's say I can take Microsoft. A lot of companies dream to join Microsoft. Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft Technology, Microsoft Corporations. So I am taking Microsoft example. Of course, this company is doing really great, but my intention here is to show you how you can basically check, to enable you how to check the financial foundation of any organization. Of course, Microsoft is doing really great, but I just want to show you how you can check the financial foundation of any company that you are going to work with. So if you will open this is a page that will come, and on this page there is an option. You will see all of these options on this ribbon: code, chart, stock analysis, news, price, value, sustainability, all of this, blah blah blah. And these three options will come: overview, key ratios, and trading information. You have to click on key ratios. Now, if you click on key ratios, the first thing that you got to do, the first thing that you got to check is the operating and net margin. See, remember, I consider that any company, any organization whose net margin is, the over 15%, they are very healthy. 10 to 15% between, they are doing okay. Anything that is below 10%, I see that company may not be doing good in that interim, but they can come back. But it is always a risky situation and risky option. And free cash flow, somebody like after deducting all the tax and all the paying all the dues and debts, the free cash flow is the amount of money that is genuinely that is owned by that organization. That's a sign of a very healthy company. Return on equity 42%, which shows it in itself that it is a really good company. They are ROE means, return on equity means that they really value their stakeholders. They really value the money of their stakeholders, right? This is what this percentage of return they are giving to their stakeholders. If you go, you can definitely go dive and deep into this. Another thing that I look into it is debt by equity ratio. It should not be more than 0.5%. If it is below 0.5, then it shows it's a sign of a really, really healthy organization. They are not going to, throw you anyway, ultimately. So doing all of this analysis, and of course, I'm not a guy from a financial background, but I know a little bit of this. I've done my research, and I've definitely attended some of these financial seminars to understand the basic of finance, understanding the P&L, reading financial books. So I know all of this. So it is important. Imagine for a moment that if you had to invest in any company, would you not look at the financial figure, or would you just invest in a company by somebody said something that's a really nice company, just go ahead and purchase the stock. You would not do that. Like, you would like to do your own research. So even if you have to go and give the interview in any company, you would like to do the research about that financial foundation. Now, doing this, let's say you have done the research about the financial foundation of this company. Now, how it helps you? Now, it helps you to boost your confidence. That the company that you're going to give the interview with is really good company, and they are not going to throw you anywhere. If there is a inflation problem, if there is an economy problem, there is a recession problem, they are going to withstand that storm. They're going to be unbeatable, and they can manage their finances, and they can pay the salaries to their employees even in the adverse circumstances. So I think it really makes sense to check about the financial foundation of the company. Now, the second, under this third option on the company research, always do the research about the products and the solution that the company is offering, right? Understand what kind of solution that company is offering. If you know about the problem that any company is addressing, probably you may have certain skills that you can talk about, and you can say that, okay, the problem that you're solving, I can definitely participate in helping you because I have this XYZ skill. And last but not the least, very, very significant, I'm going to talk about, is understand what is the messaging, what is the positioning of that company. Like, what are the mission, what are the vision of that organization? I'm again going to share my screen and show you how you can search about it. Because see, at times what happens, I'm again going to take the example of Microsoft.com. Microsoft.com. Okay. Great. I have been talking constantly. All right, Windows support, Microsoft. So basically what I'm going to show you right here is what is the mission, what is the vision of that organization, what is their ambition, what is it that they're looking forward to achieve. And the first and foremost thing is, what is the purpose of that organization? You must have heard about Nike, right? Just do it, right? And similarly about Apple. So every company has a purpose that they're solving. So I was working with British Telecom, and they had this message that use the power of communication to make a better world, right? They wanted to connect the world and make it better by providing connectivity to each and every person. So they had that purpose, and every company has their own unique purpose. Imagine you know about that purpose. Imagine you know about the values of that organization. So I'm going to talk about quickly on that part. So you can see about, let me see if I'm able to find about Microsoft. Yes, see, all of this you will get into about section of any company. Every company had this section of about Microsoft, about Genpact, about British Telecom, about any company, XYZ. Click on about Microsoft. To be honest, I have not opened this website before, but here is a message. We believe in what people make possible. Our mission is to empower every person, every organization on the planet to achieve more. Look at that message, right? This is their purpose. Their mission is to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. Who does not want to achieve more? Who does not like to achieve more? Would you not like to achieve more, right? This is one of the common things that everybody has, right? You can talk about it in the interview and surprise your interviewer with all of this information that they sometimes. I have found a lot of interviewers that they don't know about their organization. I'm being careful here. I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about most of the people. They work for 10 and 9 to 10 years in the organization, or more than that, but they are not even aware about their own organization, their products, and their mission and vision. And if you are prepared about that information, imagine the kind of impact that you can leave on that interviewer's mind. So this is the mission statement. Then our company, what we value. This is the most important thing. Next thing that I was going to talk about, what we value. So value are the attributes or the value, the things that we actually believe into. What is right? What is wrong? Let's say one of the value is that you're very kind. you help people, right? You may find something common in the company's value. And so entire exercise that I'm talking about, all these 3 steps in research about the job, and then research about the person who's taking the interview, and then research about the entire company's messaging, their product and everything. This research and this exercise is to find the common points and know more before you even go for the interview, so that you go with the confidence, you go with the positivity, you go with awareness, and you're not confused. You have a lot of information about the company. Now you're ready to fire the bullets with the loaded guns that you have. So quickly, what we value. If I look into the Microsoft website, what we value, of course, they are going to talk about deeply what we value. Citizenship, they value trustworthy computing, innovation, diversity and inclusion, environment, information like this, most of the things. So the entire exercise of doing all of this research is to enable you, is to make you, is to empower you to go and speak with a confidence, to go and express yourself like a lion, to go and express yourself that you are there to really grab that opportunity. And most importantly, to go and distinguish yourself from all the other candidates who came along with you to give the interview. So I hope you loved this session today. It was really unplanned though, but I just wanted to make sure that I am just starting to start the series properly, because just like to share with all of you that I would soon be starting a podcast again, and I would be coming live on all platforms very soon. And I would really want the love and the support from all of you guys, because I know that you guys really care for my content and you guys support me day and night. And I'm really, really indebted to all of you guys who show a lot of support and love. And I hope that today, whatever we discussed is going to be useful for you guys, because ultimately I found this really useful for me, and it has given me a lot of success in professional life. So hopefully this content will work for you as well. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would request you to subscribe it. And if you have liked this video, I would really, really humbly request you to share this as many people as you can, so that this message can reach to most of the people and they can also get benefited. So I would like to see you next time. I would announce in advance about the next live session on a very different topic, but I would also like you to participate and give the feedback on which topic you would like me to talk about, so that your life can also become easy, convenient, and you can achieve almost all of the goals of your life. So I would like to go ahead and end this session right here. Take care of yourself and your family. Wish you a very happy new year in advance. And of course, enjoy this festivity season and have a bang.